Here are some of the 50 failed forecasts. In 1967, they forecast dire famine by 1975. Is it 1975 yet?
I don't know. I have a calendar here, but I'm not sure how you check the year.
It doesn't say the year right away, does it? Right there.
See it. So I don't know if
in
we're
an
there
obvious
yet.
way. 1969, everyone will disappear in a cloud of blue steam by 1989.
What? Blue steam?
Yeah.
What was the steam from?
Yeah,
I got to look this one up. Blue steam.
Look that up. Let's see. It's in the...
I'll find it.
It's in the New York Times. It's a New York Times article.
Okay.
Is that incredible? That is crazy. In 1970, Ice Age. By 2000, Ice Age. Did we get the Ice Age by 2000? No. Also in 1970, they predicted America subject to water rationing by 1974 and food rationing by 1980. 1971, new Ice Age coming by 2020 or 2030. 1972, they predicted new Ice Age by 2070. So that actually could still happen. 1974, space satellites show new Ice Age coming fast. Also in 74, another Ice Age. I mean, this was all the rage in the 70s. 1974, one of my favorites, ozone depletion, a great peril to life, which, by the way, the ozone repaired itself. 1976, scientific consensus, the planet is cooling and famines are imminent. In 1980, acid rain kills life in lakes. Remember acid rain?
Oh, that was a big thing when I was a kid.
Yeah,
80s.
big time.
Yeah.
Big time. 1978, no end in sight to 30-year cooling trend. In 1988, the next three predictions are all from 88. Regional droughts that never happened in 1990s. Temperatures in D.C. will hit record highs. Maldive Islands will be underwater by 2018. Yeah, they're not. They're not. Rising sea levels will obliterate nations if nothing is done by 2000. That was back in 89. Also in 89, New York City's West Side Highway underwater by 2019. People are driving on the West Side Highway right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, how do you know? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm not.
Oh, does your little window to the world there show you the West Side Highway in New York? No, it does not.
No, it does not.
So you're just...
You're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the host is making assumptions this
Maybe
morning.
it flooded with water last night. I don't know. We'll check. We'll check on that, and we'll get back to you. In 2000, children won't know what snow is.
I love that one.
I do too.
They even... Who was it that did a speech on the floor of the Senate?
Robert Byrd.
Was it Robert Byrd?
Robert Byrd.
Oh, my gosh.
Sure did.
He was probably feeling threatened because he thought something really white was about to vanish from the earth, but I digress. I'm sorry.
In 2002, famine in 10 years if we give up eating fish, meat, unless we give up eating fish, meat, and dairy.
It's almost vegetarian.
In 2004, Britain will be Siberia by 2024. So I guess that could still happen. In 2008, Arctic will be ice-free by 2018. Climate genius Al Gore predicts ice-free Arctic by 2013. That was in 2008. In 2009, climate genius Prince Charles says we have 96 months to save the world. We apparently saved the world because here we are. UK Prime Minister says 50 days to save the planet from catastrophe. Wow. 50?
Boy.
They don't usually do that because that's too near.
That's going out on a limb.
And they're proven wrong too quickly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Climate genius Al Gore moves 2013 prediction of ice-free Arctic to 2014.
Oh, well, now you got it.
Yeah.
Now you nailed it,
Except no. 2013 Arctic ice-free by 2015. In 2014, only 500 days before climate chaos. Remember that predict? We talked about that a lot and counted down the days for a while.
So I think it landed somewhere in 2016.
And
then
what is it now?
Are we
beyond that?
I hate this when you do this.
Yeah,
when you put me on the spot on live TV and radio and ask me math questions. I don't know if it's been 2016 yet.
1968, overpopulation will spread worldwide. 1970, world will use up all its natural resources. Yeah, we've talked about that a few times too, including this week, I think, with the oil situation. Oil gone in 10 years in 1966. Oil depleted in 20 years in 1972.
Wait a minute. Hold on. The goalposts keep moving.
Yeah, well, because it hadn't happened in the 10 years, and so they did it. They pushed it down the road a little bit, and it still didn't happen. Department of Energy says oil will peak in the 1990s in 1977. 1980, peak oil in 2000. 1996, peak oil in 2020. 2002, peak oil in 2010.
I love this.
I love that. That's one of my favorites. 2006, super hurricanes. And then you remember after that time, we had a 12-year pause, pretty much, in hurricanes. 2005, Manhattan underwater by 2015. In 1970, urban citizens will require gas masks by 1985.
No, they're doing that just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
In the COVID era now.
Nitrogen buildup will make all land unusable, they said in 1970. Also in 70, decaying pollution will kill all the fish and killer bees. Then we had this from 75, the cooling world and a drastic decline in food production. In 69, they predicted worldwide plague, overwhelming pollution, ecological catastrophe, virtual collapse of UK by the end of the 20th century. Okay. But see, that's the in thing to do, is predicted by the end of the century. That gives you some time. The good thing about this one is we're past that time. So the next one they're predicting is also going to fail. I mean, there's no reason to believe any of this. 1972, pending depletion and shortages of gold, tin, oil, natural gas, copper, and aluminum. In 1970, oceans dead in a decade. The oceans were going to die in a decade. U.S. water rationing by 1974.
Oh, boy, that sounds like fun.
Food rationing by 1980. In 88, world's leading climate expert predicts lower Manhattan underwater by 2018. They loved that prediction. It just didn't happen. 2005.
Yeah, so what was it? New York underwater and the peak oil.
Yes.
Are the two
favorites
recurring hits there on the old. And this is what happens when you put your faith in a cult.
Thank you.
And nothing comes true. Okay.
50 million climate refugees by the year 2020. I said that in 2005. Snowfall's now a thing of the past in 2000. That was a big thing in 2000. They really thought snow was over. 1989, UN warns that entire nations will be wiped off the face of the earth by 2000 from global warming. And in 2011, the Washington Post predicted cherry blossoms blooming in winter. Somehow, none of those predictions came to fruition. Not a single one. Again, they're 0 for 50. I just saw an article with a headline this week. James Hansen, it was the NASA scientist who's wrong about everything.
Yes.
James Hansen wishes he wasn't so right about global warming.
Wait, what?
It made me laugh out loud. I mean, where do you get that? This is an AP story from 3 years ago. This guy was still claiming to be right about everything. But he wishes he wasn't so right about global warming. Well, I feel like a genie this morning because I'm granting James Hansen's wish. Ta-da! James, rest easy because you haven't been right about anything. Even as it became obvious that his predicted temperatures were getting further and further from actual temperatures, James Hansen just doubled down over the years. In 2007, he stated in a deposition most of Greenland's ice would soon melt, raising sea levels 23 feet over the course of 100 years. Now, when you put ice in a glass, and this has been talked about by scientists.
I love this.
When you put ice in a glass and that ice melts, does it overflow the glass? No, it does not.
It does not overflow the glass.
It does not overflow the glass.
However, the West Side Highway becomes impassable.
Yeah, okay? No, it doesn't.
And all this is, all climate talk and all of these doomsayer predictions, all this is, and Joe Bastardi, the great weather guy, who Glenn has on quite a bit, runs weatherbell.com. He wrote a book called The Weaponization of Weather in the Phony Climate War. And it's all it is a tool for radical policies. That's all this talk is. There's nothing happening with the weather that we need to stop everything we're doing and have this concerted effort or employ the civilian climate corps. They're just using, that's the tool. That's where the communists ran to, was the Green Movement.
Right.
After the fall of the Soviet Union.
It's so that they could pass their communist propaganda and their goals on to the next generation through climate change.
Because that's
what they're trying to do.
You take a successful capitalist economy, you throw every regulation and every fear-mongering tactic you can think of into this 50 goals scare, and you bring a society to a halt. The gears that make it work, you grind to a halt. I'm sorry, we're a capitalist country still, and look how much cleaner we are than so many parts of the world that are not. It's because when you make money, you have the money to clean up things, as opposed to let's print money and bring companies and citizens and their great way of life to their knees.
And we've done a ton of that. I mean, things used to be a lot more polluted and a lot dirtier back in the 60s and 70s, and we've done a lot of cleaning up. Companies have gotten much more aware of pollution and their contributions to pollution, and they're doing something about it because people demanded it.
People will demand
on a
local level because they don't want to step outside and breathe in soot and, we've seen
dirty water.
Pictures.
Nobody wants that.
Right. So they will hold their local companies and their local officials accountable. But this is all big money. Follow the money. People like John Kerry, who are the climate czar now, and all the money he made in oil and gas stocks before he was given this job. They don't believe in this stuff. And it's just like with the COVID thing. They're both cults, the COVID cult or the climate cult. And it's all about you changing your behavior. They're never going to change theirs.
Still, hurricanes going to get stronger and more frequent. Be scared. Be very, very afraid, according to James Hansen. Have they? No. Have storms caused increasing amounts of damage to the U.S.? No. Data from the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, show no such increase in damage measured as a percentage of gross domestic product. Now, you're going to get higher dollar figures because of inflation, but it's the same as it's always been.
And that's what they'll say. They'll make it seem like they have facts.
Yes.
But they don't put anything into context.
How about stronger tornadoes that he predicted?
Yeah, we got those, right?
Nope. The opposite may be true, as NOAA data offers some evidence of a decline. A decline.
Big time.
So this is a huge, long, and tedious list. And it doesn't even take into account, you mentioned Joe Bastardi. There's also the incredible book by Michael Schellenberger, who debunks all this nonsense about the cataclysmic events that are going to happen in the next 10 years. First, it was 12 years. We had 12 years to do something, or we were going to be, extinct? Some people were even saying extinct. Others use the word catastrophe. So he debunks all of that stuff in his book, Apocalypse Never. And it's a great read.
Yeah.
If you want to pick that up.
Remember, we've had Gregory Wrightstone on this program before with his book, Inconvenient Facts.
Yeah. Awesome.
Where he picks apart all of Al Gore's claims. So if you've got some Al Gore disciple at the water cooler, give him the gift from Gregory Wrightstone. Oh, yeah, all that stuff you just spewed, it's debunked right here. There you go.
So who really are the cultists? It ain't us. It's not us. We're the ones who are actually looking at what you've said in the past and comparing it to what has happened, which I think seems pretty reasonable. The cultists are the ones who are sticking to it no matter what. No matter what. The meteor is, we're going to jump on that meteor, or, even if it doesn't come. We're going to keep predicting the end of the world, even when it doesn't happen. And that's what they're like. They're like these cult members that are always predicting. Who was that guy a few years ago?
Marshall Applewhite. Yes. Yeah. And Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Wear your white Nikes, right?
Right.
And then we'll see you on the comet.